Hello and welcome back to my Know by Year. Happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate, if you're in America perhaps. This is a video about gratitude, about things that I want that cannot be bought. And I guess I should clarify things that I also already have for the most part. And I do think that everybody is going to have some of these in varying degrees, right? So I guess in other words, everybody has something that they could be grateful for. And if we focus on what we already have, what we're grateful for, practicing this gratitude, I do think it is a powerful antidote to the constant flow of new desires. Let's get started. Things that I want that cannot actually be bought. So I guess the first thing on my list is connection. It's been at the forefront of my mind, and I used to think that some aspects of this could be bought, right? You could buy yourself into this community, a part of society that engages in the same consumer habits and therefore be part of this kind of consumer tribe, even if you never actually speak to the people. There's, the group of women online who always seem to have the latest trendy thing, and some of them share about it frequently, so you kind of know that they exist. And if you have these trendy things, you can kind of feel like, oh, I'm a part of this group of women, this clique or whatever. And I now see that that's not real connection, and that's definitely not the type of connection that means the most to me. And it was actually, once again, doing my book declutter that rekindled these memories of sublime connection, of this feeling of being infinite, to take from Perks of Being a Wallflower, and this feeling of being infinite with other people that was so special and kind of irreplicable. And, memories of singing and dancing to music on a midnight road trip back from New York City, going to Niagara Falls or going to Vegas with other people in my life, with friends, some of whom are not any longer my friends, regrettably. But these levels of connection, family road trips now with my kids and my husband, road trips I did with my husband before we were married or had kids, just these memories of strong connection and meaningful connection and connection of care, connection of mutual alignment on this planet, in this world, on this earth, is so special. And I've recently been served a couple of philosophy videos that actually shared about, I guess, how Aristotle and Nietzsche both valued friendship as one of the things that humans need to be happy, that has to be present for a good life. And I'm not an expert on either of their philosophies, so it may be more nuanced than I'm presenting here. But what I took out of it is that my feelings that those friendship connections were kind of the epitome of good living, of what makes it worth being alive, of being here, experiencing this wonderful life, is validated. This is something that's been posited by philosophers, enduring philosophers. And so my feelings of these kind of connections being epitome experiences, I think, is absolutely true. And I can believe it wholeheartedly. And pursue more of that, pursue more, make space for more of that. Make the environment conducive for more of that, become a better listener, become a better prioritizer of those kinds of situations that lead to opening up in that way and having other people open up to me in that way. And so that is the first thing that I want that can't be bought. And also the first thing that I'm very grateful for having in my own life. The second thing is security. And I am extremely fortunate right now to be in a very secure place in almost every aspect of my life. So I have a stable relationship, a family, and I have a job that I love, honestly, even if I'm trying to still kind of pursue a better job, a more full-time job, a more kind of salary-sustaining job. I am very grateful to have the job that I have. And my husband also has a very good job right now as well. And this is actually a really great time for things like that. We were able to get a house that we like. We enjoy living here, and we like our city. So it's a very kind of secure time. Even though we're still kind of working on building savings and an emergency fund, relatively speaking, this is a very high security time for us. It is a huge blessing to be able to live in that peace of knowledge that we are okay. We're not struggling. And, despite the grocery prices and everything getting higher and higher and maybe feeling like we have less wiggle room, we are extremely fortunate, privileged, all of those things. We also, we put in a lot of work along the way, paid off our debts along the way, prioritized those things earlier, and we're able to and willing to move for the opportunities that arose for us. So there were factors, that were dependent on other life experiences, other things we were willing to do and to try. But we are extremely fortunate, extremely privileged, and I am very grateful for our security. Creativity is another one, so call that the third thing. I don't think anything can buy the creative impetus that exists in a human. I think it's just there, and we cultivate it through doing things that spark our creativity, that encourage us to spend hours doing something that tickles those creative forces within us, something that brings them out of us, something that enables us to show them to the world. And I am so grateful that my actual job tickles this in me. I'm a musician, and so I get to do this every single day. I get to pursue the most beauty that I can in the way that I express my musical voice. And that is so special. I'm so grateful that I was able to learn this craft at a young age and to have increased chance at success because of that, because of my dad passing down that knowledge. And I hope all of you have a creative pursuit of your own, and I hope you have the time to spend in that pursuit to enable you to feel that impulse tickled within yourself. And if you don't have that, I think it's really worth cultivating. It's worth leaning into that and finding something that really brings that out of you so that you can express that kind of joy, that artistic joy, that fun, that creativity kind of enables in our humanity. The fourth thing that I want but can't be bought is attention. And this is both from myself towards others and from others to me, right? It kind of goes along with some of the things I've already talked about, having security, having connection. I guess attention is kind of not necessarily a result of prolonged connection, and so that's why it's a separate thing. But the ability to give full attention, to receive full attention, to direct one's attention is something that I'm very grateful for, something that has enabled me to dive really deep into the ideas on this channel, for instance. And this isn't supposed to be a comment on ADHD or anything, attention disorders that seem to be rising in our society. I didn't even think about that when I first introduced this point. So while I'm grateful that I don't suffer from any of those kind of clinical disorders, that wasn't really what I was getting at. I think everybody in their own abilities of attention can cultivate this feeling of gratitude for whatever they can do with whatever realms of attention they're working with. And I think it's one of the most special things about being a human is the ability to direct our attention in this way. And I think that's kind of representative of our higher level of consciousness when we compare ourselves to animals, right? Animals are very focused on certain things, but they can't really direct their attention to more abstract things. And the ability to do that as a human is something I'm supremely grateful for. And it's not something that can be bought, even though marketing tries to hijack our attention and direct it towards making a purchase. And so reclaiming my attention and my time is something that's been super important to me this year and something that I'm even more grateful for after having done some of that work. Leading into the fifth point, I guess, which is time. And quality time, not quality time, just time doing nothing, time in general, the concept of existence. And that'll be number 5 and possibly where I'll close out this video, even though there's a multitude of things to be grateful for and to want but not be able to buy in a human life. I want to keep this fairly brief so we can all go enjoy the holidays, or so that I don't post this on a day where we're supposed to be enjoying our time, not on the internet, ideally. And again, here's me shoving all these narratives onto you, so disregard if that's not how you want to live your life. Anyway, time is something I am ever more grateful for the older I get, and the more of it that I have experienced behind me, and the more I think about how I hope there's a lot in front of me, but at the same time, I'm not trying to be too attached to the notion of having a certain amount of it, if that makes sense. I am much more attuned to the present, to enjoying how I am in each and every moment, enjoying what I have, enjoying the potential of a moment, but also not lamenting the loss of potential of past time. And time is such a constant presence, but at the same time an unfathomable one, because what understanding do we have of the passage of time? All we have is the now. And that's an incredibly freeing thought even when presented with the thoughts of existential crises and the possible ending of the now for us, it is just that now that we will be experiencing for the possible rest of eternity, whatever eternity actually is. I didn't actually mean to get kind of philosophical and deep and existential with this video, but I guess maybe it's fitting that we end on that kind of existential note as far as things that I'm grateful for, things that I want but can't be bought, things that I appreciate perhaps that are not available for purchase. No matter how marketing pitches the anti-aging products and anti-aging routines and wellness and health and self-care or whatever, none of that is really going to buy us more time. As far as the act of purchase, the act of wanting, there might be healthier habits that give us more time, more longevity, more fitness, more wellness, more quality of life. But those are things mostly that we have to do, that we have to bring on board for ourselves. And we can align the everyday purchases of life, our groceries, our gym memberships, or whatever, things that enable us to exercise and eat well. We can align those purchases with our goals for having more time, possibly more time of wellness. But we can't really purchase more time or better time, more quality time. More attention, more connection, more curiosity, more creativity. I guess curiosity kind of goes along with creativity. The ability to wonder is something that I don't take for granted anymore, and that I think really makes life worth living. If you stop wondering, then where does your creativity come from? Anyway, I will wrap this one up here. We'll keep it short and sweet for the holiday. And I guess the point of this video in relation to sales survival is that we have all of these things available to us as part of our human experience. So we can focus on wanting these things, because the want of all of these pursuits does not go hand in hand with a purchase that we can buy with money and something that we can put on a wish list, so to speak. And it's not going to go on sale for Black Friday either. So there we go. All right, bye for now, and I will see you in the next one.